In 2009, Jet Li shocked his homeland and fans worldwide, not with a new film or a martial arts feat, but by renouncing his Chinese citizenship, a move that turned a national hero into a symbol of betrayal almost overnight. State media unleashed a firestorm, old champions were erased from official praise, and every trace of his achievements suddenly threatened to vanish. Was it a defiant act against authority, or something far more personal? To understand why China would effectively erase the martial arts legend it once celebrated, we have to go back to where Jet Li's extraordinary story began. Li Linjie was born in Beijing in April 1963, the youngest of 5 children. His father died when he was just 2 years old, leaving his mother to raise the family alone. The household scraped by on a modest income, sometimes struggling to afford even basic necessities. In the midst of this hardship, Li's life took a sharp turn at age 8, when his school sent him to a summer wushu class. What began as a simple after-school activity quickly revealed something extraordinary. Coaches recognized his talent almost immediately and recommended him for the Beijing Wushu team, a select group that trained China's most promising martial artists. The daily routine was relentless. Training started before dawn and often stretched to 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. Young Li studied under Coach Wu Bin, known for his strict discipline and high expectations. Each session demanded perfect form, mental focus, and complete commitment. Mistakes meant extra drills, and exhaustion was never an excuse. Yet Li thrived in this environment, driven by a fierce determination to succeed. He learned to balance schoolwork with grueling physical demands, rarely seeing his family except late at night. From 1974 to 1979, Li dominated the National Wushu Championships, winning 5 consecutive titles, a record that stunned the martial arts world. He became a symbol of perseverance, his name spoken with pride in homes across China. His performances, marked by speed and precision, drew the attention of government officials and foreign dignitaries alike. Invitations to perform at state events followed, and Li traveled as part of cultural delegations, representing not just his team, but the spirit of a nation eager to showcase its strength. For millions of ordinary Chinese, Li's rise offered a rare story of hope. Here was a boy from poverty, transformed by discipline and relentless effort into a national champion. His success was celebrated as a collective achievement, a reflection of what could be accomplished when talent met opportunity, even in the most difficult circumstances. Jet Li's leap from martial arts prodigy to movie star began with a single film. In 1982, he took on the lead role in Shaolin Temple, a low-budget production shot at the real monastery in Henan Province. Audiences had never seen anything like it. The film's fight scenes were fast, acrobatic, and authentic. No camera tricks, no wires. Within months, Shaolin Temple became a box office phenomenon, earning over 100 million yuan across China. For a country where movie tickets cost just a few cents, that number was staggering. The film's runaway success turned Li into a household name overnight, sparking a wave of martial arts fever that swept through schools and neighborhoods far beyond Beijing. But behind the scenes, the transition from athlete to actor was less smooth, and conflict with officials emerged almost immediately. As a newcomer to the film world, Li found himself at odds with state film officials, while his face sold tickets by the millions. His compensation remained tightly controlled by the studio system. Reports circulated of Li pushing back against restrictive contracts and demanding fairer treatment for himself and his fellow performers. No official records confirm the details, but the stories spread quickly among cast and crew, the young star who dared to question the rules. Anecdotes from this period often return to a single, disputed moment. A legend Li is referenced in interviews, though always with caution. According to popular versions of the story, after a triumphant performance for top leaders, Li was asked by Mao Zedong to serve as his personal bodyguard. The child's supposed reply was that he would rather protect the people of China than any one person. Historians have never found solid evidence for this exchange, and Li has admitted the tale is more symbolic than literal, but the story captures something real about his character, a willingness to speak his mind even when powerful figures were listening. As Li's film career accelerated, so did the friction with those in charge, and his independence became part of his public identity. Creative differences surfaced during the production of sequels and spin-offs, with Lee reportedly advocating for more input over choreography and storytelling. These early disputes set him apart from other stars who followed orders without question. For Lee, success brought both fame and a reputation for independence, a quality that would shape every chapter of his career to come. Jet Li's relationship with his homeland changed forever in the summer of 2009. On July 18, 2009, his name appeared in the U.S. Federal Register, confirming he had renounced his American citizenship. 10 days later, the One Foundation, his own charity, announced that Lee had officially become a Singaporean citizen. Under Chinese law, this move automatically severed his remaining legal ties to China. Singapore's strict rules forbid dual citizenship, so the decision left no room for ambiguity. Lee explained his choice as a matter of family. He wanted his two youngest daughters to grow up with bilingual education, away from the relentless attention that came with fame in China. Singapore offered privacy, world-class schools, and a sense of normalcy he could not find elsewhere. But critics were quick to question his motives. Singapore's tax regime, with no capital gains tax and low income tax rates, drew accusations that Lee was protecting his fortune rather than his family. No evidence surfaced of hidden accounts or sudden asset transfers, but the numbers fueled suspicion. The public reaction inside China was swift and unforgiving. State media headlines began to question Lee's loyalty, contrasting his new citizenship with decades spent as a national icon. Social media erupted with calls for boycotts, and hashtags branding him a traitor trended for weeks. Some commentators accused him of turning his back on the country that had made him a star. Others demanded his films be pulled from television and his achievements erased from official records. Lee's own statements did little to calm the storm. He spoke about wanting a simple life for his children, but in a climate of rising nationalism, many saw only betrayal. The debate over his true intentions, whether privacy, patriotism, or profit, became a flashpoint for deeper anxieties about loyalty and identity in a rapidly changing China. Chinese authorities rarely issue formal bans against major celebrities. Instead, the system relies on unwritten rules and subtle enforcement. After Jet Li's citizenship announcement in 2009, his films began to quietly disappear from primetime television. Broadcast logs from China Central Television, the main state broadcaster, show a sharp decline in airings of his classics such as Shaolin Temple and Once Upon a Time in China. No official explanation accompanied these changes, but producers and networks became wary of featuring someone now labeled an outsider. The State Administration of Radio, Film, and Television increased scrutiny of new projects involving Lee. Proposals for co-productions or festival appearances faced extra layers of review, with some stalling indefinitely. Industry insiders described a climate where working with Lee became a risk few were willing to take, even though no blacklist appeared on paper. Other high-profile stars have faced similar, though often harsher treatment. Fan Bingbing vanished from public life for months in 2018, before resurfacing with a $100 million tax penalty. Zhao Wei's entire digital presence was erased in 2021, her name scrubbed from streaming platforms and social media. Chris Wu, convicted of rape in 2021, saw his music and film catalog wiped from every major Chinese site. Compared to these cases, Lee's exclusion was quieter but just as effective. He simply stopped appearing in new mainland productions. Peers like Jackie Chan and Donnie Yen offered no public support. Silence became the safest response in an industry where loyalty is closely monitored. Even Lee's extensive philanthropic work through the One Foundation, which provided disaster relief across China, could not insulate him from suspicion. His charity continued to operate, but his personal brand faded from state-sanctioned media, illustrating how the apparatus can enforce discipline without ever issuing a formal decree. Today, Jet Li's films remain largely absent from Chinese screens, a silent reminder of how citizenship and loyalty are weaponized in modern China. As state control over artists intensifies, the boundaries of personal freedom and national identity grow sharper, and the cost of independence only rises. What do you think?